Chapter 7, 8, and 9 are all building on the same idea of sacrifice, suffering, trials, as well as seeking heavenly reward. And one of the things that KP presents is that integrity is key for bringing out eternal rewards. You know, even though we have privileges as just where we're born and raised, and we have the responsibilities, but we need to be people of integrity. We need to be believers of integrity. And integrity, a good definition, is just being who you are in the public and in the private. That you are just honest and upright at all times. Why is integrity is so important is because it shows your character. In this chapter 7, KP really faced a temptation to borrow money in order to advance his ministry. And he says this, all I would have to do is just borrow a little bit of money for a short amount of time, and then boom, it would explode, and then I return the money. But after really wrestling with it, he decides that, it has to be done with integrity or at all. And what you find, especially in ministry and churches, is when you start breaking down and you start not following what you believe, you go on this slippery slope where lying once was hard, but the second time it's easier, and the third and the fourth, and you actually end up seeing where churches and ministries have gotten into trouble because they've just gotten so far off the path of what God desires for them. So our integrity is crucial. I was thinking about this, and I want to show you a video clip from the movie Courageous. And it's a movie clip about a man named Javier who has an opportunity for a new role if he'll make one small, simple compromise. And as you're watching it, I want you to ask, what would you do if you were in his position? Would you compromise, or would you stay strong, knowing that you might get fired if you stick to your convictions? And so I'm going to show the clip, and then we'll come back and discuss it here in just a bit. That's such an amazing clip, right? Like the whole time you're sitting there, you're thinking, man, what would I do? At least I was going, oh man, what would I do? Would I compromise or not? And what he didn't know going into it was that it was actually a test. Hey, this is a test to see if you have integrity. And they even commented that a number of other people they put to the test had failed on it. And so it's one of those things that this doesn't really always work out in real life. Sometimes when we stand up for our integrity, we actually get fired or things happen and we bear the consequences. But what doesn't matter is that we stand before the Lord, and our heavenly rewards are based off of a clear conscience before God. I like the one translation says, everybody's work will be tested, and what they have rightly done for God will be rewarded. What we have done, it's sort of like, hey, should I just cheat on my taxes so I can give the money to my church? Like, that's no, right? Should I rob somebody and then ask for forgiveness so I can give it to missionary? Like, no, you're in sin. You don't use sin as an excuse to help the kingdom of God. And so rewards require integrity. Now, I think I've said this before when we were talking through Solomon's life way back in the earlier semester, but remember, all of us are going to face, the three big temptations: fame, fortune, and flattery. The one big temptation is fame, getting famous and still maintaining your integrity, still maintaining your Christian call. So many celebrities people get famous, and then their Christianity gets pushed aside, or they compromise in order to advance their career. Fortune, same thing. People can make it big, make it wealthy, and then all of a sudden God just falls to the side. It's easy to compromise in order to get more money. And again, you're losing your soul in the gain of finances. And then lastly, flirtation, where you're in a committed relationship, you're married, you shouldn't be married yet, you're still teenagers, but when you get married, that something comes along and you just make a small compromise. Hey, I'm just going to go to dinner once with this person because they're attractive, right? And all of a sudden, you go down this road to much greater moral failure. And so to maintain integrity at all times is so crucial, because we all will face temptations, and God will give us a way out of those temptations. But We want to maintain our calling, our soul, our spirit in a right way before God. Again, building on this idea that to gain heavenly rewards, even if we're persecuted in this earth at this time. When you follow Jesus's commands, you will face persecution sometimes and hardships, but that doesn't mean we should compromise or denigrate or mar the gospel by lying and cheating just to get ahead. Those who have integrity may not get it as far in this world, but in God's eyes, they're 1,000 times further with it. So I encourage you to stick with integrity as you walk out your faith.